everyone. I'm going to call this meeting to order of February 16th, 2023, the Planning Commission at 6 p.m. May I please have a roll call?
Commissioner Andriola?
Present.
Commissioner Kramer?
Present?
Commissioner Nyberly?
Present.
Commissioner Fritzos?
Here.
Commissioner Rawson?
Here.
Commissioner Reed?
Here.
Commissioner West?
Here.
Assistant City Attorney Brandon Sendoff?
Here.
City Planner Jim Mundell?
Here.
We have a forum.
Thank you. Mr. Carey, would you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We're going to move on to item 4.1, public comment. Public comment is now open for any items. Anyone wishing to address the Planning Commission shall first provide the board clerk with a written request to speak. And when called, approach the podium, give his or her name, and will be limited to 3 minutes. Is there anyone here who wishes to speak? Seeing none, I will close public comment. 5.1, approval of the agenda. Can I get a motion to approve today's agenda?
So moved, Madam Chair.
Can I get a second?
I'll second that motion.
We have a motion by Commissioner Andriola and a second by Commissioner West. Please cast your votes. Maybe. There we go. Item passes unanimously. Moving on to item 6.1, consideration, discussion, and possible approval of the minutes of the Planning Commission study session held on Tuesday, January 17th, 2023, and the Planning Commission meeting held on Thursday, January 19th. Can I get a motion to approve these minutes?
Madam Chair, I move to approve the minutes.
I second.
I have a motion by Commissioner West and a second by Commissioner Rawson. Is there any discussion on the items? Anything needs to be changed? Seeing none, please cast your votes.
Maybe.
Okay, there we go. And we're going to take things a little bit out of order today. We have general business first instead of public hearings. Item 7.1 is consideration and possible adoption of a resolution number 234 commending Commissioner Scott Carey for his service on the City of Sparks Planning Commission. Commissioner Carey, or Mr. Carey, can I get you to, former Commissioner Carey, can I get you to step up? Thank you, sir. And I get to read the resolution, so bear with me. This is a resolution recognizing the contributions of Commissioner Scott Carey. Whereas Scott Carey was appointed to the Sparks Planning Commission on September 26, 2016, and served until December 31st, 2022. And whereas Commissioner Carey served as chair of the Sparks Planning Commission in 2019. And whereas Commissioner Carey represented Sparks on the Regional Planning Commission from 2019 to 2022. And whereas Commissioner Carey has unselfishly committed his time and knowledge to making significant contributions to the planning in the City of Sparks during his tenure as a member of the Sparks Planning Commission. And whereas the Sparks Planning Commission meets on a regular basis, requiring Commissioner Carey's attendance at dozens and likely over 100 public hearings, workshops, and study sessions during his tenure as a Sparks Planning Commissioner. And whereas Commissioner Carey participated in the Sparks Planning Commission's review and approval of numerous major projects in Sparks, including Kylie Ranch North Plan Development, Stonebrook Plan Development, Five Ridges Development Agreement, Hug High School at Wild Creek, and the 2019 Fiscal Health Analysis, and the 2021 Sparks Comprehensive Plan Update. And whereas Commissioner Carey was always available as a mentor, sharing his experience and knowledge, and whereas Commissioner Carey approached each planning commission meeting extensively prepared and ready for genuine discussion, and whereas the Sparks Planning Commission recognizes Commissioner Carey's dedication to the Planning Commission and to the city of Sparks, now therefore be it resolved that the Sparks Planning Commission acknowledges and sincerely appreciates the invaluable contributions that Commissioner Scott Carey has made to the city of Sparks during his tenure as a planning commissioner, passed and adopted on the 16th day of February, 2023 by the Sparks Planning Commission. And this has been signed by all of us. And Commissioner Carey, I would like to say thank you, thank you, thank you for your service. It is duly noted.
Yeah, thank you, Madam Chair. I guess for the record, I'll identify myself as Scott Carey, Recovery Planning Commissioner. I really appreciate the good work by staff on the language in the resolution. It really means a lot to me, and I appreciate it. Tremendous honor to serve on the commission for as long as I did. I want to take this time to really express my appreciation to Mayor Martini for the initial appointment and Mayor Ron Smith for the appointment to my last term. And it is an honor, and I really appreciate the work that the Sparks Planning Commission does. I think it's very important as a city that we have a technical review that you all provide for the comprehensive plan and the citizens' input that you provide in all of the planning processes. It's a tremendous honor to have served with all of you as well as past commissioners, people like Cloris Goodwin, who this room is named after, Nick or Chris Exline, one of the fathers of regional planning, people like Scott Barnes, Don Mackey, Kendall Matina, all sorts of folks over the years. It's a tremendous honor to be in those likes. And I'll just put a quick plug in. I'm still serving as the planning official for the Northern Nevada chapter of the American Planning Association, and just want to put it on your guys' record. The annual conference this year is going to be held up at South Lake Tahoe in the new Events Center, October 16th through the 18th. And we have some really exciting things planned for that. So look forward to working with you in that capacity and wish you all the very best of luck. Thank you.
Do we have a motion to? Do we have a motion?
No, we don't
We
need a
don't have to
motion
make a motion? Okay.
I know.
Maybe we should get a photo.
I know.
That's what I was thinking.
Thing.
We should get a photo.
We should.
Okay.
Come on.
Who has the camera?
All right.
There's
I
a
have
few cameras
camera.
in the
I have
room.
one
I
right
know.
Who doesn't
there's-
have a camera?
There's a few cameras in the room.
Yeah.
Armando can get
Can we
one.
get, no. Let's get, Armando here.
Armando's got it.
Okay.
Good.
Go for it. Get close.
Come on. We like each other.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Okay. Congrats.
Thank you, Scott. This is so wonderful.
All right, see you later. I'll see you at the planning meeting.
Congrats on his recovery.
Right?
That's what he introduced himself as a recovering
Recovering commissioner. We are moving on to public hearing item 8.1. 8.1 PCN 23-0003/MPA 23-0004, public hearing, consideration, discussion, and possible action on a request to amend the comprehensive plan use designation for mixed use district mixed residential MUD MR to mixed use district mixed use commercial MUD MUC for a site 7.39 acres in size, consisting of 7 parcels located on the north side of Prater Way between Sullivan Lane and 18th Street, Sparks, Nevada. APN 031-330-10, 031-330-05, 031-330-04, 031-330-09, 031-342-05, 031-342-01, 031-342-03. Okay. Go ahead, Sienna. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Kramer and members of the Planning Commission. For the record, Sienna Reed, Planning Manager. This agenda item is, as just stated, a comprehensive plan amendment request for a site located adjacent to Prater Way. And notably, this request was sponsored by the Sparks City Council in December of last year. On this slide, you can see the amendment site bound in red. It includes 7 parcels that together total 7.39 acres in size. As you can see, the site is located on the north side of Prater Way. Sullivan Lane is to the west and 18th Street is to the east. The properties within the amendment site are all currently developed. Uses include retail buildings, duplexes, apartments. There's an auto repair shop, a child care facility, as well as a manufactured home park. Prater Way of importance is designated as a primary investment corridor in the city's comprehensive plan. This means that Prater Way is a location where the city is targeting both public and private investment. So today, the subject site is designated Mixed Use District Mixed Residential, or MUD-MR, and that's pursuant to the city's comprehensive plan land use map. You can see that that designation is illustrated in yellow with the light red hatching. The current MUD-MR comprehensive plan land use designation is intended to provide opportunities for mixed-use development with a residential emphasis. That said, in conjunction with the city's zoning code, this designation supports both residential as well as non-residential development. Residential uses that can establish include townhomes, duplexes, apartments, condominiums, as well as supporting non-residential uses like office, personal services, restaurants, grocery stores, and convenience stores. In addition, other non-residential uses are allowed with an approved conditional use permit. Some of those uses include retail, child care facilities, event centers or banquet halls, medical offices, and bars. As proposed, the comprehensive plan amendment request would change the land use designation on the subject site to mixed use district, mixed use commercial, or MUD-MUC. That's the designation that you can see in pink. And as you can see on the map overhead, properties to the south and west of the site are already designated MUD-MUC. And that designation supports a range of residential, commercial, and recreational uses. And very generally speaking, it supports a wider range of commercial uses than the current designation. In conjunction with the city's zoning code, the proposed MUD-MUC land use designation supports a variety of residential uses, townhomes, apartments, condominiums. And then on the non-residential side of things, all of the uses that are currently allowed in the adopted designation are allowed in the designation that you see in pink, as well as other uses being able to establish without a conditional use permit. Those would be the uses such as retail, child care facilities, event centers, medical offices, and bars. So with this slide, we'll shift gears into the findings. There are 4 of them that the Planning Commission needs to consider this evening. So starting off with finding CP1, which requires the proposed comprehensive plan land use change conform with the land use and intensity designation in the regional plan. And so the subject site has a mixed use core designation pursuant to the regional plan, and properties in that designation are characterized by urban development and have the highest density and intensity requirements for development, and that's to promote a pedestrian-friendly atmosphere as well as to support transit service. To this end, the regional plan requires a minimum density of 14 dwelling units per acre and a minimum FAR, or floor area ratio, of 0.25. Because the subject site is adjacent to a primary investment corridor on Prater Way, the proposed mixed-use district, mixed-use commercial comprehensive plan land use designation requires a minimum residential density of 24 dwelling units per acre and a minimum non-residential density in terms of FAR for 0.25. As the density standards that are required in the proposed land use designation exceed those required in the regional plan, this request does conform with the regional plan land use requirements. Finding CP2 requires the comprehensive plan amendment implement the goals and policies of our comprehensive plan. As proposed, changing the comprehensive plan land use designation to MUD, MUC would again allow for that broader range of non-residential uses and associated businesses to establish along the primary investment corridor on Prater Way. This supports goals MG6, MG7, EV4, policy EV6, and policy EV6 that encourage not only a compact and fiscally responsible growth pattern, but also small business growth and development. In addition, the subject site is located in an area that's previously developed. City services are already being provided at acceptable service levels, and that supports policy CF1. Moving on to finding CP3, this finding focuses on compatibility with surrounding land uses. Changing the comprehensive plan land use designation on the subject site is compatible with those surrounding land use designations. We have the properties to the west and the south that are already designated MUD, MUC, and developed with a variety of residential and commercial uses. There are several properties to the north of the subject site that are designated MUD, MR, and developed with single-family and multifamily uses. Both the MUD, MR, and MUD, MUC designations actually have similar density requirements, and the properties to the north of the amendment site will continue to act as a buffer between the proposed MUD, MUC land use designation and then properties that are located a bit further to the north of the site on the north side of F Street that are designated mixed-use district residential neighborhood. And then we have two properties that are designated mixed-use district civic. Those are located north and east of the amendment site, and they are developed as Kate Mitchell Elementary School and Deer Park. As we have properties that are designated MUD, MUC that are located immediately south of Deer Park and then within 200 feet of Kate Mitchell Elementary. Locating the MUD, MUC land use designation as proposed is characteristic of the existing development pattern where you do have those two designations adjacent to each other or in close proximity. And lastly, finding CP4 requires public notice be given as required by state law and code. The statutorily required neighborhood meeting was conducted by city staff on February 6th. 3 members of the public attended that meeting, and questions and comments focused on supporting local businesses and the review process moving forward for the proposed amendment. In addition, public notice of this meeting was published in the Reno Gazette-Journal. That was on February 1st. And in terms of correspondence and phone calls, to date, staff has received 10 phone calls or emails related to the proposed amendment. Most of the callers were seeking just general information about what the amendment would allow, but there was one caller that did indicate their support for the amendment, and one other caller that indicated their opposition, mainly noting concerns regarding crime in the area. Staff is recommending that the Planning Commission approve the comprehensive plan amendment request this evening, and a suggested motion is available not only on this slide, but in your packet to that effect. And so with that, I'll wrap up this presentation and be available for any questions you may have.
Thank you, Sienna. Do any of the commissioners have questions for Sienna? Okay. This is a public hearing item. Any member of the public wishing to speak on this item is free to do so. Do we have anybody who wishes to speak on this item? Close public comment then. Do any of the commissioners have any questions, further discussion on this item? Okay, seeing none, I will entertain a motion. Commissioner
I
Andriolo.
move to adopt resolution number 235, adopting the comprehensive plan land use amendment MPA 23-0004 associated with PCN 22-0003, amending the comprehensive plan land use designation for a site 7.39 acres in size, consisting of 7 parcels located on the north side of Prater Way between Sullivan Lane and 18th Street, from mixed-use district mixed residential to mixed-use district mixed-use commercial, based on findings CP1 through CP4 and the facts supporting these findings as set forth in the staff report.
Second that motion.
Is there any discussion? Seeing none, please cast your vote. And the motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on to public hearing item number 8.2. PCN 18-0032/MPA 22-0005, public hearing, consideration, discussion, and possible action on a request to amend the comprehensive plan use designation from low-density residential LDR to multifamily residential MF 14 for a site approximately 8.49 acres in size, generally located at the southeast corner of Whittakin Road and El Rancho Drive, APNs 026-34157, 026-34158, and 026-34159 for possible action. Good evening, Jonathan.
Thank you, Madam Chair, members of the Planning Commission. Jonathan Cummins from the city's Planning Division. Here to request an amendment to the comprehensive plan land use designation for an approximately 8.5 acre site, generally located, as you said, Madam Chair, just southeast of the intersection of El Rancho Drive and Whittakin Road. The project site is obviously outlined in red in this image, and it does include 3 separate parcels, but we're looking at this as one site. And so we'll explain a bit of that sort of context in our next exhibit. So the request specifically, as you said, Madam Chair, was to change the land use designation from LDR, or low-density residential, to MF 14, a multifamily residential designation generally anticipating development of up to 14 dwelling units per acre. So I'll next go to our land use image from your packet. Obviously, again, the site is now outlined in the teal color, just again at the southeast corner of El Rancho and Whittakin. And so I'll use this slide to give us a bit of neighborhood context. So just off the screen to the north is McCarran. So we're just inside the McCarran Loop. Just northwest off the screen is the Winco Shopping Center. And then, of course, just west of that is 395 North as it runs along the west of that site. And so just to the south of the proposed site, again, the proposed site is outlined in this teal color. And so just south of there is the Sparks Nazarene Church, which I think is a familiar landmark if you drive northbound on El Rancho. Just to the east and north of the property are a mix of intermediate and medium density residential. So that would be over here and to the north. And some of those are single family homes in the unincorporated area just to the north of the site. And just across El Rancho to the west is the Mountain Meadows townhomes with an MF 24 land use designation. And that's right here. And then just south of Mountain Meadows is the Spanish Oaks Apartments, which has a high-density residential land use designation. So as we outlined in our staff report, staff believes that this amendment from LDR to MF 14 will fit pretty neatly into the neighborhood context with those surrounding land uses in mind. It will ultimately create a transition between those single-family residential areas to the north and the east and the multifamily developments to the west and southwest of the site. And so to build on that context a bit further, just south of those apartment complexes that I mentioned, we approach the MUD corridor along Audi Boulevard, which has a variety of housing types and residential densities interspersed with the city's mixed-use commercial land use area along Audi Boulevard. So that'll give you a sense of As you recall from the staff report, staff's position that the requested change is compatible with existing land uses in the immediate area and contributes to various goals of the comprehensive plan, while also conforming to the policies of the regional plan, as I'll get to in just a moment. So with that said, amending the comprehensive plan land use map requires the Planning Commission make the following 4 findings, as you did just recently in the previous item tonight. Those findings are CP1, conformity with the regional plan, CP2, implementation of the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan, CP3, compatibility with surrounding land uses, and CP4, requiring public notice given and a public hearing be held. So policy CP1, again, conformity with the regional plan. Staff found that the applicable policies from the regional plan are RF3, RF11, and PF1. Policy RF3, because the requested change conforms to the density standards outlined in the regional plan. Policy RF11, which requires compatibility, as I explained a minute ago. The general context of the land uses in this area are appropriate and compatible with the proposed change. And policy PF1, which services which are already in place at this location would not be affected by the change. The Truckee Meadows Regional Planning Agency reviewed the request and found no conformance issues in their review. Policy CP2 asks you to evaluate whether the requested change implements the goals and policies of the comprehensive plan. Staff found that goal H1, H2, and policy H2 applied. Goal H1 to facilitate the development of new housing. Goal H2 to promote a diversity in the housing market to support economic growth. And policy H2 to provide a variety of housing types in the city of Sparks. Finding CP3, again, this is about compatibility with surrounding land uses. So again, specifically, properties on each of the different directions from this project site. To the north is single-family housing, much of which is in the unincorporated county. To the south is a community facility land use, which contains the Sparks Nazarene Church. And to the east is a vacant lot, but has the land use designation of intermediate density residential. And to the west is various multifamily developments, the one immediately to the west containing the MF24 land use designation. And policy CP4, public notice given, public hearing held. Notification of today's meeting was published in the Reno Gazette-Journal on February 1st. A neighborhood meeting was conducted by the applicant on December 5th of last year. With that, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission adopt the comprehensive plan land use amendment associated with this item. We provided a recommended motion. The applicant's representatives are here this evening should you have questions for them, and I'll be glad to take questions should you have any for staff.
Thank you, Jonathan. Do we have any questions for Jonathan? Is the applicant? Is there anything you'd like to add to Jonathan's presentation?
Good evening, Commissioners. Stacey Huggins with Wood Rogers for the record, representing the applicant. No, staff did a great job summarizing this, so I don't have anything to add, but I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
Any questions? Go ahead.
Yeah, just real quick, just to refresh my memory from study session. So there's not currently a project. This is just for like future planning.
Correct. We are working on some site planning for the site, but right now we don't have an actual project quite ready to submit yet. And when we do come in, there will have to be a zone change that comes with a future project so that the zoning is in conformance with the new master plan designation.
All right, thank you.
Any other questions? I do. From study session, you had indicated that obviously there's nothing on the books yet for development. But when it is, you had indicated your neighborhood meeting, they had concerns about the traffic and traffic flow onto Whittakin. And in looking at this, you had indicated that everything is going to be right flow onto El Rancho. So there's going to be one way in and one way out. Is that correct? I mean, as I'm looking at the map here, El Rancho has a median. So unless there's a decision to cut that median and make a turn lane into there.
Can I make these slides go back so we can look at a map?
There's only going to be one way in and one way out.
So
if it's not going to flow off onto Whittakin.
to sort of answer your question,
Okay.
Madam Chair. For this project, we are looking at access out of this property, out onto El Rancho. That would be a right out and a right in. As a part of some adjacent development happening, there is access coming out onto Garfield to the south
Okay.
that will connect to El Rancho that will provide full access movements.
All right.
So there will be two forms of access
Okay.
in and out of this. And then just so that you know, again, as part of adjacent development, there's an emergency access easement that will provide emergency purposes only access out onto
Okay.
Wedekin.
I just know, I travel that quite frequently, and I know how busy it is in peak hours, and that's a busy thoroughfare right now on Whittakin with the change of Hug High School and the location, so thank you, I appreciate that. Any other questions?
Chair,
Yes, yes.
just for context for the Planning Commission, without a project in front of you tonight, this, what was said by the applicant has not been reviewed, considered by staff, so it may
Understood.
come back differently than what was discussed tonight.
Perfect. Thank you, sir. Appreciate that. This is a public hearing item. Do we have any members of the public wishing to speak on this item? No one? Okay. Then I will close public comment. Do we have any further questions or discussions on this item? All right. I will entertain an emotion then.
Okay.
Commissioner West.
Madam Chair, I'd like to make a motion. I move to adopt resolution number 236, adopting the Comprehensive Plan Use Amendment, MPA 22-0005, associated with PCN 18-0032, amending the Comprehensive Plan Land Use Designation for APNs 026-341-57, 026-341-58, and 026-34159 from low-density residential LDR to multifamily residential MF14 based on findings CP1 through CP4 and the facts supporting these findings as set forth in the staff report.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner West and a second by Commissioner Pritzholz. I think we're ready to cast your votes. Any further discussion on this item, guys? Okay. Motion passes unanimously. Thank you. Moving on.
Didn't say anything, sorry.
Raising your hand.
I know.
Moving on to item 9, announcements, presentations, recognition items, and items of special interest. Do we have any? Thank you. And we are at our final public comment. I will open it for public comment. Public comment, anyone desiring to address the planning commission shall first provide the board clerk with a written request to speak, and when called, approach the podium, give his or her name, and will be limited to 3 minutes. Do we have anybody wishing to speak? Seeing none, I will close public comment. Item 10.2, staff comments and announcements. Do we have any? No? Okay. Commissioner comments and announcements. Anybody? Oh man, you guys are making this easy for me. Then I will adjourn this meeting at 6:35.
Thank you.
Thank you.